in the matrix and my brain's up for the taking, but we don't do that. I know my facts. They say that he was elected, but where the stats at? They say that jab the only way to get your life back, but if you have a heart attack, then they will go to hide that. Look at the FDA acting like KKK, trying to run all our lives like we they brand new slaves. Lose the job, bent from plain segregation, all the same. They call themselves progressives, but they taking us all back again. Bring the world to darkness and sacrifice the children. Then when it's said and done, then you will never live with hope again. I say that we break the chains, we can't leave the world the same. Make love real again.
As we fly above the truth, I ask of God, am I with you? I walk the path, go to the light, but still I feel that.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, people of all ages from all across the world. You're now tuned in with me. My name is Chandler Crump, and this is the Chandler Brief, where the dress code is, of course, business casual, as evidenced by my tie we have here. And I'd like to announce to all the ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, and people of all ages in the chat who have ever voted for a Democrat, I'm here to announce that you have indeed been scammed. And those of us that have never voted for a Democrat, or even those of us like myself who have never voted at all, are also being scammed. Now, I'm not placing the blame entirely on all of you. In fact, some of you might not have even voted in the 2020 cycle for Democrats or Joe Biden or any of them. But I do have to say, those that did owe a lot of people a lot of money, and that is because of a few different factors enacted by the Biden administration, the Democrats. These high, crazy gas prices, the Inflation Reduction Act, which is supposed to be curbing the inflation problem, which is yet another issue we have to deal with. All sorts of madness we're going to be jumping into today, but first things first, I want to say hey to all the ladies and gentlemen in the chat. Rebecca says that is transphobic. I will never stop. All my folks over on Rumble, Getter, watching us here on YouTube, Twitch, Facebook, you name it, I'm there. If you're just getting in here, make sure you smash that like button. We've got a ton of topics we're going to be jumping into today, so let's just get started. First things first, I needed to make sure my thing is actually set so that you guys can see what I'm looking at. There we go, we're all set. The Inflation Reduction Act. Now, I'm sure a good amount of y'all have heard oodles upon noodles of things about this act. And we talked about it on our most recent show, I believe on Wednesday or Tuesday. Yeah, Tuesday last week was our most recent show. I was sick a little bit at the end of last week, but I'm glad to be back for y'all, ladies and gentlemen. The Inflation Reduction Act is something that at the time we talked about it was just an act being pushed forward for a vote. We're going to see what happens with it. We weren't too hopeful thinking it would get anywhere. But now the tie was broken. It's over. The Inflation Reduction Act will double IRS agents and audits, but the super rich aren't the real targets, writes the New York Post, which is yet one thing that the IRA is doing. The Manchin-Schumer Inflation Reduction Act, which could clear the Senate this weekend, is supposed to raise tens of billions of dollars by adding $80 billion to the IRS budget and hiring as many 80,000 more auditors and agents. This article was written before the weekend. This article was written on the 5th, and that was last Friday. The weekend has passed. It is passed. The plan is estimated to double the number of Americans audited each year. To quote the church lady from Saturday Night Live, well, isn't that special? Most of the money raised from these audits won't come from the super rich or multi-billionaire corporations, both well-stocked with accountants and tax attorneys to fight IRS allegations, but small business owners and upper middle income workers will likely be the targets. The woman who runs an accounting firm or restaurant won't have the resources to fight the government in tax court. This proposal comes just a year after the IRS's latest scandal with agents illegally leaking millionaires and billionaires' private tax return data to the media. Conservatives should be especially worried. Will the Biden admin weaponize these tens of thousands of new agents against them as it is done at the Justice Department and the FBI? No one should forget this is precisely what happened in the Obama-era Lois Lerner affair. The agency cherry-picked for extra scrutiny the tax returns of conservative organizations and donors who happen to oppose Barack Obama's policies. We all want Americans to pay the taxes they owe, but this plan is a brutal way to make that happen. This last sentence sounds like something that Chuck Schumer would say, minus the, but this plan was a brutal way to make that happen. In fact, he'd probably say something like, this is a great step forward for our democracy, or something just insanely crazy like that. What's going on? A Garson in the building, Rebecca Kaplan. They're saying some things. Garson says Democrats have proven themselves completely irrelevant. Sadly not irrelevant, as they are putting together all these different things. Now, we're going to talk a bit more about this Inflation Reduction Act and just how it even got where it is, because, you know, these things have to be voted on, right? Don't we have a completely split Congress, 50 Republicans, 50 Democrats, and a few independents over there? And then Kamala Harris as the 51st, the tiebreaker vote. Well, that's what had to happen for this act. Senate passes Democrats' sweeping climate and tax bill, delivering win for Biden. This was August 8th, today when it passed. Or yesterday when it passed, talking about it today. The Senate on Sunday passed Democrats' sweeping economic package designed to combat climate change, address healthcare costs, and raise taxes on larger corporations, marking a crucial achievement for Biden and his party as they look to maintain their hold on Congress in the November midterm elections. The plan, called the Inflation Reduction Act,
Stop the cap.
cleared the upper chambers by a vote of 51-50 along party lines, with Vice President Kamala Harris providing the tie-breaking vote in the evenly divided Senate. Democrats used a fast-track legislative process known as reconciliation to pass the measure in the face of unanimous opposition from Republicans. It's been a long, tough, winding road, but at last, we have arrived, said Chuck Schumer in remarks on the Senate floor as members prepared to vote for the final passage. Today, after more than a year of hard work, the Senate is making history. I am confident the Inflation Reduction Act will endure as one of the defining legislative feats of the 21st century. That sure does sound like patting yourself upon the back, does it now? So let's take a look once again at these things. An economic package for climate change, healthcare costs, and raising taxes on large corporations. Taking us back to our legislative and regulatory stance we were before the Trump administration. High taxes on corporations means that they will be able to employ and pay their employees less and less, because they're not going to be swallowing that cost. That cost gets passed along to their employees. People will be laid off. People will receive pay cuts, on top of already the indirect pay cuts we're receiving from inflation, which the so-called Inflation Reduction Act is doing absolutely nothing to curb. In fact, it's doing quite the opposite. The vote came after a marathon session that lasted through the night and into Sunday afternoon, with Democrats breaking into applause as members cast their final votes. In a process known as a vote-orama, Republicans offered a slew of amendments that Democrats successfully swatted down over nearly 16 hours of debate. GOP senators did manage to block a provision that would have capped the price of insulin at $35 a month for those covered under private healthcare plans. Democrats needed 60 votes to waive reconciliation rules and keep that part of the bill, but it failed 57-43, with several Republicans joining Democrats in support of the measure. Once again, weakness. House Democrat leaders announced last week the lower chamber will return from its month-long recess on Friday to take up the legislation, which is expected to pass. Mr. Biden praised Senate Democrats for passing the plan and acknowledged it required many compromises. He urged the House to swiftly approve the bill. Today, Senate Democrats sided with American families over special interests, voting to lower the cost of prescription drugs, health insurance, and everyday energy costs and reduce the deficit, while making the wealthiest corporations finally pay their fair share. Language we heard all too often amid the Obama administration, and we are now hearing once again in the Biden administration, as we get absolutely nowhere closer to restoring our economy to the booming days of President Trump.
What are we talking about?
It's no use! Is it even worth trying at this point? The president said in a statement, I ran for president promising to make government work for working families again, and that is what this bill does, period. The package is the culmination of months of negotiations over Mr. Biden's domestic policy agenda, which at times appeared to be on life support, but was revived last month with the surprise announcement of an agreement between Schumer and Joe Manchin, a moderate Democrat from West Virginia. So, even though Mr. Manchin has been on our side on quite a few good issues, this is where his Democrat feathers do truly show. Although, thankfully, we have Murkowski and Mitt Romney on our side this time to not Benedict Arnold us. But in the end, it didn't matter because Kamala Harris dropped that 51st vote, that tiebreaker, which she's done almost a record amount of times in her tenure as president of the Senate, to deliver us, once again, higher taxes on corporations, supposedly addressing healthcare costs, and fighting climate change as the best way to curtail inflation. Sure does make a lot of sense, right? Well, on top of all these different sweeping plans to curtail and attack inflation by surviving climate change and raising taxes, because that's one way. Instead of letting Americans hold on to their money, the government's just going to take more of it on top of inflation. It makes so much sense. They just can't stop printing the dollars. The Biden administration is also going to be sending more billions upon billions. Billions, $4.5 billion to Ukraine. Yes, this is what's happening right now. The Biden White House will provide Ukraine with an additional $4.5 billion, increasing the total budgetary support sent to the country since February's invasion by Russia to nearly $60 billion. These new funds will go directly to Ukraine's government, supposedly. We don't know where that's actually going, but hey, it's going somewhere. According to Reuters, the U.S. Agency for International Development made the announcement on Monday. The funding coordinated with the U.S. Treasury Department through the World Bank will go to the Ukraine government in tranches, beginning with $3 billion disbursement in August. USAID, the Agency for International Development, said. They report, transfer payments of $1.7 billion in July and $1.3 billion in June were already made earlier this year. Billions were also provided in military support, and $1 billion weapons package is expected to make its way in the near future. Ukrainian officials say they face a $5 billion a month fiscal shortfall due to the war. The World Bank estimates that over half of Ukrainians will be living in poverty by the end of 2023. Oh, that's so sad. USAID says that the U.S.'s financial support of this to the war-torn Ukraine has allowed for their government to keep gas and electricity flowing to critical infrastructure. The funds have also gone towards teachers, nurses, and other civil servants. The U.S. remains committed to supporting Ukraine and its people in the wake of Russia's unprovoked and unjustified war, said U.S. aid. The Biden White House approved $54 billion to be sent to Ukraine earlier this year. Gosh, we can't even count how much money. Like, I tried looking up a legitimate count, and it's only like counts in small bursts, like, oh yeah, it was $7 billion in June and $8 billion in July or something like that. Those aren't the actual figures, but that's what I was able to get. Nothing that truly totals it up. And I think $54 billion was just one of the sections of some bill from earlier this year, not counting the 10, 9, $8 billion sent here and there. And that's just the United States. This isn't just a domestic money laundering scam. This is covering pretty much every other country in the first world, sending billions upon billions to Ukraine for whatever they deem fit. And they want to act like this isn't a problem. They want to act like Americans struggling to, find baby formula, struggling to afford putting gas in their tank, struggling to make their voices heard on social media because the Biden administration is putting together disinformation governance board so that you can't speak your mind. And yet they're going to ignore each and every one of these struggles and in fact make them even worse because they are directly involved in it, like the Inflation Reduction Act raising taxes so that the company you work for, like Walmart or McDonald's, might consider laying you off a little bit more than they did a month ago because of how bad things are. Inflation affects them too, and now they're going to have to pay higher taxes, so they're going to want to lay you off. But instead of doing anything to curtail any of these problems, more and more money sending to Ukraine, less and less money going to ease your pain. I can make a song out of it if you guys want me to make it easier to understand, but I don't think anybody's going to care. Because just today, another $1 billion was announced being sent to Ukraine. $1 billion in additional security assistance for Ukraine. This is from the Department of Defense announced just today.
Billions.
I don't know. Today, the DoD announces the authorization of a presidential drawdown of security assistance valued at up to $1 billion to meet Ukraine's critical security and defense needs. This authorization is the Biden administration's 18th drawdown of equipment from DoD inventories for Ukraine since August of last year. It is the largest single drawdown of U.S. arms and equipment utilizing this authority, and this package provides a significant amount of additional weapons, ammunition, and equipment, the types of which the Ukrainian people are using so effectively to defend their country. Capabilities in the package include yada yada, C4, armed medical treatment vehicles, so much stuff. In total, the United States has now committed approximately basically $10 billion in security assistance to Ukraine since the beginning of the Biden admin. Since 2014, the U.S. has committed more than 11.8 in security assistance to Ukraine, which means that 11.8 minus 9.8, which is like $2 billion right there, is what we committed between 2014 and January of 2021. The rest of that 9.8 billion has been since then. Gosh,
What are we talking about?
This is craziness. Well, people have been making some fantastic content about just how crazy this stuff is. Here's right to bear memes with it. Come on. The best way to deal with pain is to laugh at it, and I think this is how we do it right here. We make some just fantastic memes. It says Zelensky, and if you guys don't know, Zelle is one of those fancy apps that lets you send money with your phone to other people. You just connect your bank account to it. Well, here's Brandon giving money through the phone to our illustrious lifesaver, Zelensky. It's just a good one. This next one is great too. This money grows on trees. Zelensky pours it in the seeds of Biden, and there it is, money tree right there. It really does grow on trees. Somebody else posted a picture of Leonardo DiCaprio as Jordan Belfort from The Wolf of Wall Street, which I think is a pretty good depiction, if I do say so myself. Y'all in the chat are saying some stuff too. Garstone says, Joe sending lots of money for military equipment in Ukraine is a losing conflict. So true. Be the Gardener says, our dollar will be more valuable as toilet paper if this keeps going like this. Yep. Rebecca says they are finally able to buy mansion in cinema. Yeah, honestly, they whipped them back into shape, and that's how you do it. You get Joe Brandon and the rest of them to just give everything they've got, and that's how we get to where we are right now. But I can tell you guys with certainty, there is a cause so much better than Ukraine to give your money to, and that is this channel right here. Stick around for these short messages about how you can support our channel.
Hey freethinkers, Chandler here, and welcome to the brand new one-of-a-kind commercial break. Here on the Chandler Crump channel, we pride ourselves on straight-talking nature, adherence to facts, resistance to media programming, and a loyalty to the red, white, and blue, above all. These live shows are what I consider to be my job, and I only get paid on tips around here. So if you think I've done a good job or want to encourage me to do even better, then check out the description of this video and go to donorbox.org/support-Chandler. This is our donation processor and the one-stop shop to support all things Chandler. If you choose to, you can even have your name appear on stream to flaunt that you support our show. This is of course the illustrious Hall of Heroes bar above me. Another path to the Hall of Heroes is of course Cash App. My Cash App code is $ChandlerCR and is visible on every one of my streams. Thank you guys so much. Now, let's get back to the show.
So that is right, you too can donate money, not to Ukraine or to the endless money tree that is Joe Biden, but to the show. So if you want to join Mary and our various other previous Hall of Heroes members above me, then you could go to donorbox.org/support-Chandler, as mentioned in the ad, also in the description, to support our channel and my content to you guys. I stream 4 times a week, most weeks, like last week, bad example, but this week we'll be streaming 4 times this Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday. Mondays and Wednesdays at 4, Tuesdays and Thursdays at 8. Very easy to remember, just 4848. You can tune in to us here live on YouTube, Rumble, and all of our other platforms, and I bring you guys the news. So if you don't want to miss out, you can do so and support me as mentioned. Also, make sure if you're on YouTube to smash that like button. We've got 18 people in the building, but only 19 likes, so I think we can pretty much double our likes right now if you guys smash that like button if you have not already. But now, let's jump into a news story. If you guys didn't know, this past weekend, CPAC Dallas, or CPAC Texas, I should say, occurred in Dallas, Texas, and some very interesting things happened. President Trump spoke. I believe Ron DeSantis also spoke. I may be wrong. I was not there this time. I was sick and also had some other things to take care of. But either way, it was a great time, and some hilarious things happened. We're going to touch on this one first. This one involves our favorite provocateur, I guess we can call him, Alex Stein, 99, who went to this event and trolled a Vice reporter who was there at it. This is hilarious. This will be my first reaction to it. I haven't seen it yet. This is going to be funny. So let's check out what Alex Stein did to this poor Vice reporter.
So this is the Vice reporter. You can tell the only one in a mask here. So how are you doing?
Just doing my job.
She's here trolling everybody here. So she's the only one here in a mask, and she's just saying negative stuff. I can't believe they let you in here. Do you feel like you're lying or sheep in the lion's den?
I have credentials to be here. So.
Yeah, so do I. But I'm saying, see, this is Vice, guys. This person, she's trying to troll this event. She thinks all of you guys are losers. So that's what she posts on the internet. She posts the most out of context stuff. See, Vice is the worst media company there is. They're all liars. So
it's kind of sad. It is kind of sad. She's getting just beaten with words. It's kind of sad, but also a little funny. Come on, guys.
What do you think about your crappy media company?
Just do my job, and if you have a problem with me being here, you can take it up with CPAC.
I know, but don't you think Vice is a bunch of liars?
No, I'm very proud.
Oh, you're proud of, you know, you guys mainly talk about
It's hard to understand her in the mask. You can't even hear her.
drugs. Are you a drug addict too? Like all the Vice content you make? Guys, this is the Vice. Guys, this person, she's a loser right here. She's the only one in a mask. You see this? This is what a loser looks like. She's got her coronavirus. How many vaccines do you have? Are you on your 5th vaccine?
It's none of your business.
Oh, it's not? So why do you want to mandate them if it's none of my business? Are you pro-vaccine mandates? Oh, it's none of my business, but she's pro-vaccine mandates.
Alex doesn't even give him a chance. He is a troll, and I think he's proud of that. I mean, look at this. Is literally a troll face. Like, I'm gonna show you guys something from the 2010s era that I don't know how many of y'all are gonna know. But this is literally what Alex Stein's face looks like. I don't know how many of y'all are gonna know this, but this is Alex Stein right here. Just a pure troll. A pure troll. This is him right here. I don't know. My viewers might not have been all paying attention during the 2010s, aside from like Obama or something. But this is what I grew up with, and I really think Alex Stein embodies this. Truly. I mean, look at it. Can you guys see the resemblance? This is a troll right here. And whether Miss Tess Owen deserves it or not, that's not important. What's important is that this got 27,000 likes, 6,400 retweets, 1,500 quote tweets, nowhere near ratio. He did amazing. Amazing. And Patriot J DMs are, how many vaccines do you have? People are curious. Well, this got just a little bit bigger than I bet even Alex Stein was expecting this to get, as Kathy Griffin, who is famous for something. I don't know what she's famous for. All I know is that she like held like a headless Trump up or something or whatever. I know she's crazy. She's verified, all that good stuff. She fell for a lie that Alex Stein told. So let me see if I can find a little bit more about this story before I take you to that part, because Alex Stein started to thread a lie and Kathy Griffin bought it. And it hook, line, and sinker. It was hilarious. Let me see if I can find it, because I know what happened is, okay, so here it is. So Christopher, or somebody named Titus, I don't even know who they are, but Christopher Titus commented on this, on him attacking Tess Owen. He said, when young boys don't have a father, they turn into Alex Stein. Alex Stein says, my dad is Tucker Carlson. His show is #1, and yours is canceled. And Titus says, are you actually trying to insult me with someone else's TV show because you've never had one? Weird flex. And he said, my show is coming out soon, Titus. I'd love to have you on as a guest. Anyways, that's what's important to that story. Because then, here's what happens next. Kathy Griffin buys the line, hook, line, and sinker. She says, this is Tucker Carlson's son. The misogyny with this crowd is just as pervasive as the racism. Oh my gosh. It's no use! What? This is sad. This is sad. Cause I'm stupid. I feel bad for her. She got trolled terribly. Lol Kathy, remind me why you got canceled again, says Alex Stein. Let's see, what did other people say? Because this was sad. Kathy, as a former fan who grew up loving you, I'm going to be honest with you. That's not actually Tucker Carlson's son. Change yourself to the world. Change yourself to change the world. You will never be truly happy fighting right-wingers. Take care of yourself, heal within. Kathy Griffin responded. She said, blessings to you. Oh, hey, that's cool. Oh, somebody went and did it. So this is what Kathy Griffin did. And except imagine instead of Alex Stein's face, it was Kathy Griffin here and then Trump's face right here. Although I'm also noticing, I recognize this torso. This is Trump's body that they photoshopped Alex Stein's face on and then put Kathy Griffin. I think it is. Unless it's, hold on. It might actually be Kathy Griffin herself, because I know she has that image. It looks like this. See if I can find it anywhere. I don't know. She might not have it up there anymore, but either way, that's what Kathy Griffin did, and so it's been hilarious all day. Rebecca says Alex rules. Agarson says Trump at CPAC was fire. Manuel says Alex is the GOAT. I agree. I really agree. That is funny right there, and if he's truly getting a show, that is going to be amazing. But if we're talking about Trump at CPAC, we have some really cool stuff to bring up about that. Now, obviously, you guys know Trump gave a great speech at CPAC. Agarson says it was great. I've seen some clips here and there, although I don't think he did any flag hugging, but I do think it was pretty good. And I've heard some stuff about Ron DeSantis doing some things soon as well, which is really exciting. But something cool that happened at CPAC was a poll that went out. Now, this, of course, was polling conservative, so it's going to be skewed, but you can see the result of this alt-tech wave pushing right here. This is an image of a poll of people asking what social media networks you use. Facebook, of course, was in the lead, but tied for second was Truth Social at 48 with YouTube. At Rumble, 38. The next alt-tech platform is Getter at 23, then Parler, I can't see the number, but Parler's up there, and then last but not least are Gab and CloutHub. So this is great. Oh, Telegram's there as well. I didn't even notice that one. Telegram is actually above Getter. And you can notice Twitter is actually, though still on the kind of the top dogs up here, is quite a bit behind Truth Social. Parler's still up there as well. Even after everything that's happened with Parler, they got attacked hard. So I think it's really great to see that these alt-tech platforms are getting the love they deserve. I do want to once again shout out that I am on these alt-tech platforms as well. So you guys can follow me over here on Parler, just at Chandler. I have all my posts up here, including some exclusive stuff that I'm posting over on Parler, like this really funny story right here, which you guys can check out. Also, I'm on Truth Social as well, so you can find all of my stuff right here. In fact, let me refresh because I know I posted something. So there it is. I posted about when I do my shows, all that good stuff. You can find it right here on Truth Social. Great people all up on both of these platforms. You can find them all on Parler.com and Truth Social. But I think once again, it is so important to work to represent for these networks. Like I'm on Rumble. I stream on Rumble 4 times a week, just like I do on YouTube and all my other places. It's so important we get out there, and I think we're doing something really good. So shout out to CPAC. For having their event, and then also for Real America's Voice putting together this poll. I'm happy to see that Tumblr only has 1 user out of, 60 or so people polled or whatever. So, yeah, it was really, really great. And, of course, you expect Facebook to be in first, but Truth Social's creeping up. It shouldn't be there for long, so I think that is very good momentum we have going on here. We have another insane story to jump into. This one is big, and I think it's breaking the law. Conservatives are accusing a trans activist of illegally sending hormone drugs to children, and they are citing social media. You are not going to want to miss out on this story. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back after this quick commercial from our sponsor.
Hey freethinkers, Chandler here. Have you ever worried for you and your loved one's data being taken online, like your social security number or bank information? Well, it's not an irrational fear. It's all totally possible. But I'm here to tell you there's a solution to that problem. The solution? It's called DataSeal.io. For one monthly or annual plan for you or even your household, you can have DataSeal systematically scan and remove your information from the internet. So if you're interested, hit the link in the description or go to DataSeal.io and use code CRUMP, that is code CRUMP, at checkout for a discount on your subscription. Now, let's get back to the show.
You heard it here. You heard it here first, folks. So make sure you go to dataseal.com and use code CRUMP at checkout to save yourself from any embarrassment that may come from them spreading your information out on social media or the internet in general. It might even help you prevent doxing. So you can check all that stuff out right now at dataseal.com. But now, without any further ado, you're going to want to hear this story. It is crazy. Oh, Deuce says just followed you on Twitter or Truth Social. Didn't know you're on it. Thank you so much. I appreciate that. That is really great. Conservatives say the plan is a crime on several different levels, talking about how trans activists are illegally sending hormone drugs to children. A prominent transgender activist has come under fire for a social media post detailing a plan to send hormone therapy prescriptions to people living in states working to criminalize such drugs. Wow, Ellie Ehrlich is sending drugs to children across the country without prescriptions, parental consent, or any legal authority whatsoever. This is a crime on several different levels, said the Daily Wire's Matt Walsh in a tweet. I didn't even know he posted this out there. That's wow. Okay, so this is from Libs of TikTok. Yes, okay, that's why. The tweet came in response to a screenshot of an Instagram post where activist Ellie Ehrlich detailing that there are over 20 states trying to criminalize hormone therapy, particularly for trans youth. So my friends and I had an idea, sending out our extra prescriptions across the country. If you need hormones, I'm working with a distribution network to get you access. The post continued according to the screenshot that was originally posted by the popular LOT Twitter account on Friday. States such as Florida have advised against administering hormone therapy to youths. The Sunshine State's Board of Medicine is currently working to ban such treatments for children under 18. Ehrlich's original Instagram post is now deleted due to the extreme harassment from LOT and Matt Walsh's fans. I have been harassed, doxxed, and lied about after they made those posts, said, the sentiment stands, all trans people should have access to gender-affirming care. And Ehrlich, who self-describes as extremely queer and incredibly trans, and is the founder of the Trans Student Educational Resources Group. Walsh also tweeted a YouTube link posted in March of 2021 from Ehrlich's page, where the activist recounted having ordered a double dose of hormones and testosterone blockers to give them to best friends, my closest lovers, and my worst enemies over the last several years. Yes, that's right. They're handing out prescription dope to each other to reduce their testosterone. The LOT account said it alerted the DEA to the social media post and included the FBI's official Twitter account in a couple of its tweets on the matter. I just busted an international illegal drug operation. Will the FBI and DEA do anything? The DEA told Fox News it does not confirm or otherwise comment on ongoing investigations. The FBI did not immediately respond to a request for comment. Here's an image of what I was going to say Mr., then I considered saying Miss, so now I'll just say Eli, of what this Eli individual looks like. Truly confusing. I don't know what to say, but either way, There's the thing that they posted, 20 states trying to criminalize hormone therapy, yada yada. Missing a single dose of hormones can be devastating. These laws are outrageous and I can't wait for them to be overturned. In the meantime, DM me if you need HRT or if you have overprescribed hormones you'd like to send out. This sounds like your neighborhood dope dealer. Not that I know what they sound like, but I mean, if I could assume what they would sound like based off their business, this is about what I'd presume. DM me if you need a hit. You need your what's the way? Yeah, I think hit's the best way to do it. Seth Dillon says the criminal is on Twitter too at Eli Elric. Yeah, these tweets are protected, but you can see their banner of just confused people. And there's Eli, PhD candidate at UCSC, researching political philosophy, social movements, trans history. Okay. Yeah, so there's the story. A lot of people spoke out about this. Eli deleted the original Instagram post, but is now bragging that we're helping to advertise the illegal drug running operation, which is confirmation that the conspiracy to commit federal crimes is still ongoing. Lots of great evidence, all helpfully provided by Eli personally. It's what you love to see. Elric posted additional tweets from Matt Walsh in a follow-up Instagram story reviewed by Fox Digital. Look, Matt Walsh, I know you have a thing for trans women, but you already have my attention. I'm still not interested in you. Sorry. What are we talking about right now? This breaks so many laws that it's difficult to keep count. Ehrlich, oh, I was reading it wrong. I thought there was an L right here. Ehrlich may harbor delusions of being above the law as a member of a protected class, but I believe that the law should be enforced equally, especially where the safety of children is concerned. I will do everything in my power to make sure that this confessed drug peddler is brought to justice. Amid the controversy, previous allegations of assault against Ehrlich have also surfaced. It seems that Ehrlich, along with being a confessed drug trafficker, has also been accused of assault by several people, including minors. Have police ever looked into this? How many alleged crimes does this person need to commit before law enforcement acts? What is Ehrlich doing? Oh my gosh, the Politician New York premiere. Wow, was this person in the show? Interesting. The individual that accused me was my academic mentor and assaulted me when I was a teenager. They additionally accused 8 other individuals of abuse around that time. They made the allegations after I contacted Title IX to keep them off campus after they graduated in retaliation, Ehrlich said in an email to Fox. The activists also claimed to have an audio recording of them recanting their accusations. The Redux article reporting that Danny, Young Diamond, reportedly committed suicide at the beginning of 2019, less than 3 years after going public with the allegations of abuse against Ehrlich. Ehrlich charged that Redux is notorious for publishing false hit pieces on trans people. Sounds like a whole mess around this individual. So, can we count on anything they say to be true? I don't know. Mike says, changing definitions doesn't mean reality. Boys says 5-year-old on kindergarten cup. That's funny. Rebecca says, Matt's wife is pregnant with their 5th and 6th children. He doesn't want this guy. Yeah, come on now. This guy. Good job, Rebecca. You're gonna get me struck down. It's big stuff coming out of all this, and I don't even know what to say. I saw this story from LOT, and I had to cover it. It just says, red flag, FBI, post was just deleted from Instagram, DEA. Eli is laughing because Eli knows nothing will happen to Eli because these actions are approved by the regime. This is just Band-Aid solution. That's something that will have to be solved on the cultural level. Yeah, they want to go after culture too. It's the culture war, I tell you, ladies and gentlemen. I know you're at this point, your eyes got to be glazing over, but let me tell you something. This is the true fight right here. This is the true fight. Anyways, we have one last story to jump into, talking about Texas Governor Greg Abbott, which is a really hilarious story. As you guys know, he and I believe a few other governors have been shipping illegal immigrants that arrive in their states to New York, Washington, D.C., and various other places after they arrive in their border states, their red border states, because simply they just can't handle any more. Governor Greg Abbott vows more migrant buses will be coming to New York City, even after New York Mayor Eric Adams has been complaining and moaning about how terrible the illegal immigrants are and how we need to be locking down, and how they were complaining about how these governors are sending these illegal immigrants with no plan as to what happens next. In fact, I think I posted about it. I'll pull it up just to show you guys that I've been talking about this for a few days now. It was hilarious. Yeah, so GOP governors sent buses of migrants to DC with no plan for what comes next. Sounds almost as bad as Democrats opposing a border wall to let illegal immigrants into our country, with no plan for what comes next. Doesn't seem so great when it happens to you now, does it? Right? Let's check in on this. Texas Governor Greg Abbott's office vowed Friday to send even more busloads of border crossers to the Big Apple as the Lone Star State continues to grapple with the ongoing migrant crisis. The Republican governor said the Port Authority bus terminal in Midtown Manhattan will be a drop-off spot going forward after the first busload from the border arrived Friday morning. Over 50 migrants were bused to New York City this morning from the southern border in Texas. This is now a drop-off location for our ongoing busing strategy. Abbott has already dispatched dozens of buses filled with more than 6,500 migrants to Washington, D.C. this April. He vowed to continue to charter buses to both New York and the nation's capital as his state struggles to deal with the unprecedented number of migrants illegally crossing the Mexico border. I mean, there are nearly thousands of these people crossing the border every single day. Tens of thousands on a month-to-month basis. This is getting insane. Because of President Biden's continued refusal to acknowledge the crisis caused by his open border policies, the state of Texas has had to take unprecedented action to keep our communities safe, Abbott said in announcing the arrival of the bus at Port Gate 14. In addition to D.C., New York is the ideal destination for these migrants who can receive the abundance of city services and housing that Eric Adams has boasted about within the sanctuary city. I hope he follows through on his promise of welcoming all migrants with open arms so that our overrun and overwhelmed border towns can find relief.
Yep.
I can't even oppose it. I can't. Adams, who has already warned that NYC's homeless shelters are being overrun, turned down Abbott's invitation to visit the border earlier this week to see the dire situation firsthand. Abbott told Jesse Waters Thursday night that he wished Adams and D.C. Mayor Muriel Bowser would reconsider his offer. They do need to realize the magnitude of chaos created by Biden's open border policies, Abbott said, with images of these migrants arriving, or these illegal immigrants arriving in New York City, D.C. This is what you need to do. This is what you need to do. I think this is the best way to push forward and make these people realize that your actions do indeed have consequences. And it's about time we share those consequences with them. Or as this meme says, you could change Lib's entire immigration policy with these things, with the bus. And there's Ron DeSantis like, you might just be right. You might just be right.
Yep.
Go, you know the thing.
And that, ladies and gentlemen, is our show for today. Thank you guys so much for being tuned in with us as we broke down the news of the day. It has been a fun one, to say the least. Let's take another quick look at the memes of the day with Zelensky. This is how the money moves. Or the Zelensky money tree. I can make a rhyme out of anything. Just give me a door, lock, and a key, and I'll make sure that you can indeed believe that I can make a rhyme. I don't know what's the next thing, but either way, the money tree is growing endlessly right here. And last but not least, of course, the migrant bus. I think this is how we change the future and how we realize that Eric Adams, Muriel Bowser, and soon even Joe Biden need to do something if they want to fix this country up. And something a whole lot better than the Band-Aid tipped with poison that the Inflation Reduction Act is. It's not helping us at all. So I think this is how we push things in a better direction. We'll have to see what comes next. But anyways, thank you guys so much for being tuned into the show today. Shout out to my folks over on YouTube, Rumble, Getter. I appreciate all y'all. Make sure you smash that like button on the way out. And aside from all that, I'll catch you next time, free thinkers. Don't forget to spread the virus of intelligence. I'll see you tomorrow at 8 on Tuesday. Peace out.
Into the